Hey y'all, Nova here. Today I'll be covering the Recon class. I'll be giving you all the necessary tips and tricks that you'll need to be successful while playing this class. Additionally, I'll show you my loadout and what I take into consideration when choosing my loadout. So starting off with my primary weapon, the sniper has access to both designated marksman rifles and sniper rifles. I personally like the sniper rifles both. They feel much more satisfying to use, and I'd say with the designated marksman rifles, they just feel like they don't do enough damage. If you do use them, you really got to go for headshots. It's like a 3-tap body shot normally, and they don't shoot very fast, so it's just pretty tough to use them successfully. I'd say that I definitely find the sniper rifles easier to use, though as you can see I've been using the M110 a little bit more. But basically you get the SG, SV98, L96, and basically what people say is the M200 is the best gun, but that's rank 100, so until you get there, I've heard the L96 is actually a really good sniper rifle. And then out of these, I think people generally think that the M110 is the best, so I don't know about the SVD. Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyways, that's sort of out of the scope of the video. I won't go through the gun guides. That's for my other video series. So choose what you want. It's really up to you. I'd say the sniper rifles have longer range, though it does drop off eventually. But basically, go for headshots, any normal sniping. So next with the pistols, you're going to want the best pistol in the game, which is the Glock 18. Obviously, that's pretty high rank, so until then, we're on the Unica. Both of those suck. So yeah, basically you're screwed with pistols. You just want to use your sniper when you can, and pistol as a last resort. I'd say even like maybe C4 is more effective than a pistol. So bandages, standard, you only get 3 instead of the 4 that most classes get. Just something to know, I guess. So with your primary gadget, advanced binoculars are pretty much useless just because if you have a medium range scope, oh yeah, that's one thing with these. Medium range scopes don't have scope glints, long range scopes do, so these are medium range. Use these so you don't give away your target. But basically, advanced binoculars not really useful just because medium scopes don't have scope glint either. So I'd say anti-personnel mine's pretty good, and then C4 really, I'd actually say running the C4 is really good just because you can use it as a secondary instead of a pistol. Usually I think it's like a one-shot kill. You just throw it and dodge behind a door and like right click and kill them. So I'd say definitely use C4. It's also really good for getting to good hidey holes for killing people, and also breaking open walls to get good shots on people. So C4 is great. If you're really like campy and you're in a building, you could use a claymore at the entrance point so you don't get flanked from behind. Suicide C4, again, always a meme, love it, but pretty much useless for this class unless you're running at people. For the air drone, you can do a meme where you put the anti-personnel mines or C4 on it and fly into the enemies, and then it will explode. I haven't had too much success with it, but I know other people have. Grappling hook, really useful for getting on tops of buildings, or towers, or like the water tower on Tens of Towns, stuff like that. However, the thing with the grappling hook is keep in mind all the other snipers in the game on the enemy team are going to be looking at the tops of roofs. So you make yourself a primary target. I'd say the best place to snipe is actually the floor right below the top floor. I really seem to have more success on that floor versus the roof. So just keep that in mind when using the grappling hook. Still, I use this a lot when I'm a sniper, maybe more than anything else. MDX is great. It gives off a scope glint, so it'll give away enemy snipers because they'll look at it with their scopes, and basically it just looks like a scope glint, and it gives you a chance to pick off the enemy snipers before they pick you off. Pickaxe, this is really good for making little holes in walls that you can shoot for. It makes, people won't know where they're getting shot from. Definitely say you can use a pickaxe to great effect, just depends on the map. If you're like wide open fields, it's not really useful. Same with the sledgehammer, but I think it breaks down bigger holes in walls, but generally I'd use pickaxe over sledgehammer with this class. Finally, throwables. Flares useless unless on night maps. Flashbang's really good for flashing people, but I'd say, you don't really have a weapon to switch to. I mean, maybe C4. So flashbangs are okay. They're just, frag grenades are pretty good. Smokes, you're not going to be using your throwables too much, but I'd say use your frag grenades or smokes. Smokes are good for getting away. So yeah, so that basically ends the loadout portion. We're going to get into some tips now. You can zero sniper rifles. Basically you hold alt and then you roll your mouse wheel up or down, and it'll show in like I don't know if it's in the middle or the bottom left or something, but it'll show little white numbers of where you're zeroed into. This is helpful like for estimating, but really where this shines is when you get the rangefinder. It allows you to get really long range shots on people, because you can use the rangefinder to get the range 0, and then if you aim at their head, generally it hit their head. I usually aim a little bit above their head, just a little bit. But it really depends on how your zeroing works. If you get good at this, you'll be able to estimate it without the rangefinder, but definitely get a rangefinder. Next, for keybinds, you can also use left shift to steady your aim. This is really only useful if you feel like your sniper rifle is swaying a lot when you're shooting, but definitely take advantage of this. There's nothing more frustrating than shooting and missing because your sniper rifle swayed when you could have held left shift and steadied your aim. So make sure you're using that. Don't, as I said this before, but don't snipe from obvious spots such as rooftops, cranes, or towers. It's really gonna hurt you, and enemy snipers will look at those first to kill you off. So I would generally snipe on the floor that's right below the roof. So yeah, don't snipe from obvious spots. After getting a number of kills, I'd relocate to a new place because the enemy's eventually going to come hunt you down and try to kill you, especially enemies that you just killed. So you know, you get like 5 kills and then move. It's really not that hard. You'll find a better place. This doesn't go like if you're in a big town map and you have claymores holding your position or your teammates are behind you. You know, use this with discretion. It's up to you when you move. But as I said before, use medium range scopes for no scope glint. And then also make sure that you hit your left mouse button after firing to load another round in the chamber. There's nothing more frustrating than lining up a shot, trying to shoot it, and then you just chamber around and completely don't shoot. So make sure you remember to do that. It's a little bit weird. Not all games have this. Some games do. It just takes a little bit of getting used to, but that really only applies to sniper rifles, obviously, not the MDRs. So it's easiest to hit long range shots with the rangefinder. I'd say until you have the long range or the rangefinder, maybe try to go into the city, get as many kills as you can, just like closer range. And if you really want to go for those longer range shots, get that rangefinder, use a long range scope, and just get those insane shots. I'll have some clips of me hitting some really long ones later in the video. Make sure you keep track of how full your magazine is. It'll show at the bottom left. Usually I think you have 3 magazines unless you're wearing a better armor or whatever. But again, this is another thing that can be really frustrating. You'll line up your shot and your gun will go click. You won't actually shoot anything because your magazine's empty. So make sure you're keeping track of that. And then next, play in a locked squad so you don't have squad mates spawning in on you and giving away your position. This can be so frustrating. You have a great spot and no one sees you, and then your squad mates spawn in and start shooting people, and your position's just given away. So make sure you're playing in a locked squad if you're really taking things seriously. But you know, that's not for everyone. And then don't look at targets using your scope. Spot them first and then scope in and kill them. This is it's not about the scope glint. It just makes it easier to. It's really inefficient to look at the map with your scope unless you're shooting really long range and you can't see anything. I'd say really try to look, and you know, if you see movement, zoom in on that and then fire. Don't look around with your scope. That's just standard sniping things for all games. Always strafe around while looking for targets so that you know, if you're being counter sniped, they missed. It's really easy. Just, you know, AD, AA, DD, you know, whatever you want. S, W, mess them up. Make sure that they're not sniping you. If you are being sniped at, maybe go behind cover and relocate a different spot and try to kill them before they kill you. I think like the counter sniping back and forth with other snipers is probably one of the funnest parts of this game. So definitely a fun thing to be done there, and I'd just say you can use that MDX to confuse them, get them shooting at that instead of you. You can also hide behind the MDX and they'll like shoot at it, and sometimes the bullets will hit that instead of you. That's just something else to know. If you're under fire and there's no cover near you, you can put down sandbags. This goes for any of the classes, but especially the snipers, the 4th sandbag has holes in it that you can shoot through. It makes it really hard to shoot you, and you can snipe quite easily through them. So it's the 4th in line when you hold your middle mouse button down. This is old info. I don't know if this is still true, but it used to be that headshots do 1.9 times damage. I struggled to find the exact multiplier nowadays, but do with that information with what you will. You can do your own math. And I also heard that damage drop-off starts at 200 meters for most sniper rifles. I can't verify that though, so I'm not sure. You'll have to, again, look that up for yourselves. Next, we already covered this, but use claymores to cover entry points where you're sniping. Again, try to hide them. They have the long wires, so they're pretty easy to see, so you got to be tricky with where you put them, but you can definitely get some pretty good kills with them, especially if the enemy isn't paying attention. Also keep in mind that claymores stay even after you die, so you can get some kills way later in the game with them, even if you've died multiple times. You can use vehicles, both ATVs and helicopters, to get to good sniping vantage points in big multiplayer battles. This is especially important in big open ones where you want to go far out. You don't want to run there, that's a waste of your time. Use an ATV, please, and if you can get a helicopter, sure, but generally leave those for your team. I use ATVs all the time. I'll just spawn back at base and ride one all the way out to get those long range snipes. Next, if you run out of ammo in a remote location, don't forget about supply drops. Make sure you call in a supply drop because there's really nothing you can do. Your support class isn't going to drop you ammo, let's be real. So drop that supply crate, get your ammo, and keep up with the sniping. And make sure, remember, if you're behind cover, to lean. It's really helpful. It's a little janky because the scope like leans as well, but you'll get used to it. It'll really keep you from getting sniped by other people, beamed down by like an M4 or whatever. So I'd say my last tip is lean. So if you found this video helpful, Please let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'll be getting more videos out every single day. I'm really loving BattleBit. It's a great game, and I'm really appreciative of all the recent support on my video. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you all are having a great week. Good luck in your battles this week, and I'll see you next time.